Hello, valued viewers. My name is Baron, and today is Monday, July 27th of 2026. The BU has been out a total of about 5 days now, and for about the 2 days I've been checking HeatBlur's Discord server and F-14 General, I've seen about 3 people have the same conversation, expecting the Phoenix to have unrealistic performance. So I'm just making this quick video to explain how the Phoenix should be used. An overview is that the Phoenix is a very, very draggy missile. It is different from when it first came out, which I think is what most people remember. You want to be up above 30,000 feet is good for the missile. You want to be fast. You want to be high and fast. And you want to shoot as early as possible, probably around 60 miles on fighters, because the missiles weigh a lot. So you need to get them down so that you can reduce your weight. Though for a more chematically correct shot, you should probably shoot it around 40. But you should refrain from shooting under 30 in TWS because the missile just doesn't loft in time. You should wait until about 20 to 25 miles, and then you should get an STT and then Fox with an active missile. So that's a brief overview. We'll get more into this. Oh, I want to explain this is not a tutorial on the radar or the data link systems. This is just a quick video on how to employ Phoenixes. One thing you might want to turn on is this here. Jester treats no IFF reply as bandit because HeatBlur surprisingly implemented a full IFF simulation, and if you get no IFF reply, which you won't from any bandits or from an F-14 with its IFF off, then they're going to show up as unknowns. Anyway, let's get right into the video. Alright. Before the live demonstration, I wanted to slow down and show you what you'll be looking at on your HSD in TID repeater mode. The first thing you'll see are the 3 tracks, and to the left of them will be the altitude of the track, in this case 24, 30, and 23. In the BU, it shows up to the nearest thousands of foot, so in this case 24,000 feet, 30,000 feet, and 23,000 feet. And in the A and B, it'll show up to the nearest tens of thousands of foot. So 0 to 5,000 feet will show a 0, 5 to 15,000 feet will show a 1, and 15,000 feet to 25,000 feet will be a 2, and so on and so forth. The next thing I want to show you is the little X over the middle track there. That means that you are on a memory track. The radar actually doesn't know where that guy is, but it's just guessing. So you do not actually have a radar track. Now, the next image I want to show you is a half circle, a half chevron, and a staple, we call it. Notice how these are under the last tracks that I showed you. This means that these are purely data link tracks. You don't actually have them on radar. Your WCS is just being supplied exterior information from an AWACS, from a ship, from anything. And then the opposite of that, you'll see these tracks above. Those are displayed purely on your radar. Usually you'll see this if you don't have an AWACS or anything like that. Those are actually on your radar, so you're looking for them above. And lastly, I want to talk about the HAFU of these tracks. It applies to both data link and your radar. A half circle, like the one on the left, on either side is a friendly. The chevron on either side is enemy, and a square, or like a staple, is a unknown. And when you see the full circle, you see the full chevron, or you see the full square, it means that both your aircraft and your AWACS agree on that target. Now you see the dangers of selecting that option I was telling you about in the special options. The contact on the right is actually a airliner, but because Jester retreats no IFF reply as bandit, we would think it's a bandit. Lastly, I want to show what it looks like when you have a Phoenix selected. The vector lines on these tracks are relative closure, so they could be traveling away from us, like their heading is away from us, but we are traveling 100 knots faster than them. Those lines will still be pointed in our direction. Those are not absolute vectors. For that, you need to tell Jester to switch to ground stabilized mode on the TID. You'll also see a 1 and a 2 next to the middle and the far right track, and those are the Phoenix firing orders. If you were to pull the trigger right now, the first Phoenix would guide on the middle bandit, and then the second Phoenix would guide on the airliner to the right. And I will show you that that will turn into a time till impact countdown, and that time impact will flash when the missile is active after you fired it. Last thing to note is that when you are in firing range and the Phoenix is ready to go, the contacts will flash to indicate that you are ready to shoot. Lastly, before we get in the jet, I want to show you guys what missiles to use. Today we'll be flying at 30,000 feet, 430 knots. We will have about 16,000 pounds of fuel, so this is an engagement like maybe 30 minutes after takeoff. And we'll have full bags, and we'll have the best missiles to use are the LAU-138 AIM-9M on both sides, the AIM-7P, and then the AIM-54C Mark 47. Now there's a whole debate. Again, this isn't a super in-depth tutorial, but just use the AIM-54C Mark 47. Simple as that. Alright, now that we are in the jet, let's get set up. First, master arm cover up and master arm on. ACM cover down. Over here in the display control panel, you're going to want to select AA as the master mode. You're going to want to switch to the TID repeater on the HSD, and you're going to want to turn off ECM override. Then you want to hit backspace on your keyboard to turn off your stick. And then, well, maybe I should have showed this before, is you should select Sidewinder and Phoenix on the stick and click the button down to select Phoenixes. I should also explain that each one of these lines is 20 miles, and each one of these spaces is also 20 miles. So 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. As you can see, these bandits are about at 100 miles, and they're coming into view now. You can see them on the HUD here. Looks like we already got, this is the flashing I was talking about, we already got a launch indication on this. This is an Su-27 at 87 miles. We're going to wait for that to come down to about 60. Now, obviously, I shouldn't focus on this airliner, but I will just demonstrate for testing purposes that you can guide in multiple AIM-54s at the same time. At about 70 miles, I like to put the cans in and get up to speed. You can also start unloading the Tomcat to about 0.5 G, which makes it accelerate a little faster than it is now. You can also pitch the nose down, but for our intents and purposes, we won't need it. A lot of clutter going on here. You can see that X over. That kind of looks like that we have lost the track, but it seems to be holding good enough. I mean, we'll find out here in a second. And then I'm going to start my pitch up at about 60 miles. Here it comes, 61. And my aircraft is freaking out. A lot's happening. There's 60 miles. We're going to pitch up to 30 degrees. Come on. And Fox 3. Gotta hold it down a little bit. Fox 3 times 2. And now you gotta be very gentle with your inputs after this, because if you do not, then you might lose your own track. As you can see there, we got about 128 seconds on our TTI to impact. We're going to want to crank. We'll crank right in this case. Again, be very gentle with your controls because we do not want to lose these tracks. The AUG-9 is not roll stabilized. And now we wait for these tracks to hit. It's also preferable that you get under the bandits that you were foxing at for a better track so they cannot hide in the ground clutter. But we'll just leave it at this for now. 22 seconds. And you see it's flashing there. That means that the missile has gone pitbull on that bandit. Let's check in on it. Looking good so far.
Let's do this.
Looks like this missile had no issue tracking. Obviously, that guy's not reacting. Our other missile seems to be doing quite well as well. 17 seconds till impact. Let's check on this guy. And also seems to be tracking very well. Let's see what we kill. And it's a civilian airliner. DC-10. That is unfortunate. Anyway, I hope that tutorial was useful in explaining how to use Phoenixes. If you have any feedback, please leave it for me in the comments.